G6, discussion action, police department staffing and command structure adjustment. Both Manager Whitehead and Chief Chaffetz have some.
Hello again. So what I am proposing and hoping that you consider for approval is allowing me to restructure my command staff to include an additional lieutenant position. That position is just going to be what I'm looking at doing. I'm not trying to create another position. I'm trying to take the position I have as a detective sergeant right now and just move that to a detective lieutenant style / administrative lieutenant. I'm going to need some assistance when it comes to trying to gain the accreditation and an accreditation manager and being able to get all of the documents needed to show that we're in compliance with the program. I'm going to need somebody that's going to be able to go in and have that authority. And then at the same time, he is currently acting as a rank of sergeant. And so when you have a sergeant trying to tell or ask other things from other sergeants, you may have some animosity between the ranks. And so this way it's a clear structure. He'll be able to just straight line directly, take care of the business that I need him to take care of when it comes to administrative duties. And then he'll also still be doing his investigations as well. And with that, I'll stand for any questions, unless City Manager, you have anything to add?
Chief, Mayor, Commissioners, what I also add is we initially started looking at this for two purposes. One, we wanted to create the separation. We were trying to find some solutions with overtime. As you saw from the report, we did lose the school resource officer, which is $58,000. So the chief and I met multiple times trying to find, ways to offset that expense. What I will tell you, currently we still are down a few officers, and we have been for the last year. We're usually off 1 or 2 officers, so we're not spending the full allocation of dollars that we have for the full 16 complement that we have. We thought we could separate this, and then by doing so, we would have 2 leaders that could potentially cover those shifts when a supervisor needs to come out. We're not saving a lot on the overtime, but we feel like we could affect it by not having just 1 officer coming out. We did try to move the senior officer into a different kind of a vertical opportunity, but we found that wouldn't work for that particular employee based on his current tenure and his ability to retire and some of those items. So this structure seemed to give us the best opportunity. The chief and I are both aware that we are short again that $58,000. And so what the chief has agreed is we'll keep a close eye. If we did get fully funded and we needed to, we could use the police department's gross receipt tax to offset any additional cost in labor if we did so. And then the last piece, to support the chief, I think there's real importance that we continue. We did hire an officer for that position. We'd like to continue to train and make sure that we're ready. For 1, we could be a good backup for the sheriff if they needed us, but 2, if the opportunity presents, we'd be ready to go. So it's more than just changing the structure. We really thought about this internally, operationally, and again, budgetarily, if we could make this work. So we're supportive of this program for the chief.
Okay.
So stand for any questions.
Give me a breakdown of kind of what the structure is now. So you'll have a chief. You're not going to have an assistant chief.
Right.
You're going to have 2 lieutenants.
Yes.
And then the sergeant that's moving up. Are you going to refill that sergeant position?
No, we won't fill that position. He'll, instead of being a detective sergeant, he'll just be a detective lieutenant with additional duties. He already takes care of the majority of my administrative duties. He'll just be an administrative lieutenant, and then I'll have my operations lieutenant. So, and they'll complement each other.
Okay. And then I think you and I talked briefly. They're going to be on opposite days off, or how does that work?
So, yeah, the scheduling will be to where one will be on call. They'll offset the on call. That way, one's not just constantly on call. And then, like our first line supervisors will be able to have that communication with either one of them, depending on who's available for the on call.
Okay. And then do they supervise individual officers or the whole group under them and shares those duties?
So the span of control is the patrol operations lieutenant takes care of all the patrol. The administrative takes care of the civilian staff, and then in the absence of the operations lieutenant, he fills in on the on call, and his span of control will change to whoever's on call.
And the administration, the lieutenant in charge of administration, he's going to be doing things like certification for your PD and things of that nature.
Yes, sir. Yeah, he takes care of all of, technical stuff with tracks and then the NIBRs, the crime reporting and he oversees that and he'll be taking care of all of basically he'll be an accreditation manager. And so he'll be taking care of all this, demanded of him from those accreditation programs.
And budget wise, how does it look in general? It's a slight increase?
It's a real slight increase for him, not a whole lot.
Not just for him, but for the department as a whole.
Yes, yeah, it's just really a slight increase.
I think that's my questions. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Compared to him, this officer specifically, we've sent him to command school, the Northwestern School of Command, and he's passed out with flying colors. He passed with an A, and that's a college course, highly sought after for command staff and chiefs. So he's met that, so he is well qualified for the position. So he'd be qualified for any organization that he chose to in that.
How many years does he have in with? How many years does he have in with us?
Oh, he's got over 5, I think, right at 5.
I guess I'm looking down the road because you're not going to be with us forever.
Yeah,
We potentially have a chief available.
I think so. He's a strong candidate. He's a great officer, great asset to the city, and I'm extremely excited for him if we can make this happen.
Any other comments?
He knows his department best.
All right, may I have a motion?
Yeah, I will make a motion to approve the police department command structure adjustment as presented.
Second. Thank you.
Honorable Rob Heschler.
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Inga Hopner.
Aye.
Honorable Ted Lynch.
Aye.
Motion carries. Item G7, discussion action memorandum of understanding between the city of Truth and Consequences and Sierra County. Development along shared boundary. Ms. Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. So due to some recent inquiries about some potential development that could come in areas adjacent to our city limits, I felt it was really important to establish a process with some guidelines for development, specifically to properties that may be just outside city limits and county limits, but would be close enough they could potentially be connecting to our utilities, our water, sewer, and electric. And so with that being said, we did a lot of research and came up with a potential MOU to work with the county to be able to have those potential developments have to follow some of our guidelines and our development standards. So we don't potentially have 2 businesses or developments directly across the street from each other darn near and have extremely different development standards. So we presented the MOU, we met with the county manager as well as the county attorney, with city manager and city attorney. And I think we've come to a pretty good agreement. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our city manager, and then I think attorney may have some comments. And if the commission is on board with it, my request today would be to authorize city manager and attorney to get the final agreement set and signed and sent over to the county.
Mayor, members of the commission, again, I think Assistant Manager Alvarez explained it well. The concern would be in particularly commercial areas where our boundary is right next to the county, that potentially a business could buy that land, come to us for water, wastewater, electric, and we would have no zoning authority. So we really wanted to kind of make sure that we found a compromise. Likewise, the county has the same requirement or responsibility. They don't want to give up any authority that they have in their particular 2 areas. So we met to kind of really solidify what would be the right opportunities. So what we've kind of agreed is that connection to our utility system would be the one trigger in this agreement that would require then a property that's connected to us in boundary only would then have to comply with our zoning ordinance. So you could have a business that would potentially say, well, we'll let Sierra Electric Co-op supply us electricity. We'll put in we'll drill our own well. We'll put in our own, wastewater treatment on site, and we'll haul our trash away. We would have no authority over them, and that we wouldn't have any way to connect with that, if you will. So So we think the agreement's clean, the county was comfortable with it, provided that, again, they have all their authorities and all their authorities are in place. And then potentially the second part of this might come where when we look at our ordinances, we may want to look at an ordinance that would require any property owner that wanted to connect to water, wastewater, city utilities to have some form of compliance within our rules and regulations, right? So I think it was a good thought, and it was put together well. And with that, I'd let the county attorney speak to the legal sides of the agreement.
This agreement went back and forth between Mr. Pado, the county attorney, and myself. And as Albert pointed out, that we had a meeting that involved us and their attorneys. While the application process, is geared towards the county being involved in the initial process, you can take comfort from paragraph 5. And if you take a look at the blue line sentence there, and I'll just read this aloud. Any applicant seeking connection to municipal utility system shall be responsible for complying with all applicable city ordinances, including but not limited to zoning, technical standards, utility regulations, fee schedules, and utility service requirements then in effect. And then nothing contained as an MOU shall obligate the county to require connection to city utilities where lawful alternatives are otherwise available. But the point is that they want to go through our system, they have to comply with all of our rules and regulations. That's the point here. Okay.
And Mayor, just to be fair, we do not have an application that this particular action would take effect immediately, but we have received inquiries as, Love's is in, they're active. There are other businesses now that's a typical process of one business will follow another. So we have received inquiries, and that's what the reasoning for kind of this bringing to our attention to say, if something more is going to happen in that area, we should at least be prepared to be forthright and forward with our ability to manage it.
So Love's is right there on the city boundary, isn't it?
Love's is inside the city limits.
Yeah, but it's right there on the boundary itself.
It's right on the boundary,
So if
right?
somebody were to do something across the street, they'd want to hook up to our facilities,
That's correct.
but they would be technically in the county.
In the
They would
county,
have to
that's
follow.
correct. The property on the other side of Cemetery Road or Dr. Hubble Road, on the other side is county property. So that particular area was enough to get us to say we better be
Get ahead
thoughtful.
of the game.
And the same
Makes
could
sense.
happen in the Williamsburg area, right down. There could be something go outside in those areas.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU and authorize mayor to execute the final document.
Second.
Honorable Angel Hopner.
Aye.
Honorable Pascaline.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Hessler.
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Carries. G8, discussion action approval of contract and allocation of funds to Scraggs for the 2027 Rock and Gem Show. Ms. Torres.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This is an application that went before our loggers tax board. If you see the amount requested, it was for $27,650. Our board did not approve the entire amount just due to limited funds. They want to kind of see where we're at with our funds. And then they recommended that later on in the year, if we do have funds available, they can go back and ask for additional funding for this event since it's not until 2027. The amount requested was $27,650. And the amount recommended by the Loggers Tax Advisory Board was $12,100. I recommend approval for the amount requested or recommended by the board.
Thank you.
So what you'd be doing would be approving the contract. And
In the amount of-
The amount that-
yeah, ma'am, yeah, and I think you just want to satisfy yourself that by approving the amount that you believe the city is getting a comparable benefit in exchange for the allocation of funds. And that's true for this item and for the next two items on the agenda.
Okay, do we have any comments, questions, concerns? None, I'll entertain a motion.
Make the motion to approve the contract, in the amount of $12,000, $12,100, for the Rock and Gem Show.
I second.
Honorable Pascaline.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Hessler.
Aye,
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Angel Hopner.
motion carries. Item number G9, discussion action approval of contract and allocation of funds to Main Street with the consequences for the Levitt AMP TRC Music Series Promotional Campaign.
Thank you. So this request was in the amount of $7,880. Our lodgers tax board reviewed it and they did a reduced amount because they did not approve the funding for the A-frame signs because it didn't put heads in beds. So the recommended amount was $6,528 for this application. So I recommend approval of the contract in the amount of $6,500.
Love it. All right, may I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve the contract and allocation of funds to Main Street TRC for the Levitt AMP Music Series in the amount of $6,528.
Second. Okay.
Honorable Ralph Pressler.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hopper.
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Glines.
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Motion carries. Discussion action, approval of contract and allocation of funds to Main Street with the consequences for the 2026 Oktoberfest stores.
Thank you. So this request amount was for $4,400. Due to the limited funds, they went through the application to see what they could reduce. After discussion, they wanted to reduce some of the t-shirts and that put them down to $4,000. So I recommend approval of this contract in the amount of $4,000.
Any discussion? Want to say I appreciate the lodgers tax going through all this, this work and their diligence and making their recommendations to us. So I appreciate their efforts. With that, I'd like to make the motion to approve the request for Main Street for Oktoberfest 2026 in the amount of $4,000 as presented.
We'll second that.
Yeah, that's you guys.
Yeah.
Honorable Chaz Glines.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Pressler.
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo.
Item D11, discussion action, reappointment of Jake Forstner to the Lodgers Tax Advisory.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. Mr. Forstner is a longtime member on our Lodgers Tax Advisory Board. His term expired in July, so he reapplied for the position. The board unanimously recommended his reappointment, and if you reappoint him today, it'll be for a 4-year term.
Any comments, discussion, questions?
Make a motion to approve the reappointment of Jake Forstner to serve another 4 years on the Lodgers Tax Advisory Board.
I second that.
Honorable Ingo Hopper.
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Glines.
Aye.
Honorable Ron Feshler.
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Carries. Thank you, Mr. Forstner. Discussion action, reappointment of Jessica McKenzie to the Lodgers Tax Advisory.
Thank you, Mayor. Jessica McKenzie is also a current member on our board, and her term also expired in July. Her application was taken to the board, and they unanimously voted to recommend another 4-year term for Ms. McKenzie. I recommend approval.
Okay, thank you.
I'll make the motion to reappoint Jessica McKenzie to serve another 4-year term on the Lodgers Tax Advisory Board.
A second.
Honorable Amanda Forster.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hopper.
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Glines.
Aye.
Honorable Ron Feshler.
Aye. Carries. All right. Let's move on to G13, discussion action, appointment of Andrew Curry to serve as a member on the board, the Public Utility Advisory Board. Taurus.
On June 24th, this application was brought before you for the request to appoint Mr. Curry to the board. You guys recommended that we take it back to the board when they had a full board available. We did that, and they made a unanimous vote to appoint Mr. Curry to the board, and we do have the minutes available. So we do have 2 vacancies on that board right now. Is there 2? So I do recommend approval of Mr. Curry for a 2-year term.
Thank you.
Make a motion to appoint Mr. Curry to serve a 2-year term on the Public Utility Advisory Board.
I second.
Honorable Ralph Preschler.
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Glines.
Aye.
Honorable Amanda Forrester.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hopper.
Aye. Motion carries. Discussion action, appointment of Susan Bueller to serve on the Public Arts Advisory Board.
She's here. Do we want to let her?
She is here.
Oh, yeah.
You want to let her speak?
Yes, ma'am. You better get your words in while you can. And thank you for being here.
Nice to be here. Good morning. Thank you all. I am applying for the Public Art Advisory Board. If you have any questions of me, I'd be happy to answer them for you. I have had some experience with public art. And I spearheaded the Tower of Her Son, which resides in the Healing Water Plaza. Art is very important to me, and my goal would be to bring public art to fruition. So if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them for you.
I have a question, but I have a request.
Yes,
If you're on that board, would you ask the board and make it a mission to get some of our artists registered at the state level? So that when we get funding for major projects and we set money aside for arts, then we can look at some of our local artists and
So we
support
can
them
feature them, yeah.
and support them and feature them in the processes that we have here.
I think that's an excellent idea. I'd be happy to work on that and help with that.
Well, that's okay. For that reason, we'll approve.
Thank you all so very much.
I'll make a motion to appoint Susan Bueller to serve a four-year term on the
Public Arts.
Public Arts Advisory Board, sorry.
Honorable Ingo Hopper. Honorable Chaz Glines.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Preschler.
Aye.
Congratulations. Okay, item G16. Discussion action FY 2025 Safe Streets and Roads for All Grant Agreement. The All SSA Safe Streets Grant Agreement. Ms. Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. You may remember a couple of years back, we completed the Vision Zero Safety Action Plan. Once that plan was completed, it provided us the eligibility to apply for additional funds to implement some of the items identified within the Vision Zero plan. A meeting with city management and streets department and reviewing the list of items. We ended up submitting an application for a citywide roadway sign inventory and some road safety audits at the intersection of Date Street and Marie Street, and Date Street and 9th Street. We felt that within the funding allocations at that time, because there is a match required, that fit within our budgetary purposes. We were awarded that, and this is the grant agreement. It takes a little bit to get through this process. So this is the grant agreement for that project. It is a $440,000 federal funds with $110,000 local match for a total project budget of $550,000. And so at this time, we're requesting for the commission to approve and execute the grant agreement. It takes a while once we send it up to get it back. So this will come back to you guys in the form of a budget adjustment because it's come in after our budget was planned for and in between times to be able to do the bar. You'll see it one more time after it's fully executed.
Thank you.
Yeah, any questions?
Yep, questions, comments? We're good. I think this will open us up for other funding once we receive that. Particular
Yes,
grant.
it is at a national level, so it's a really competitive grant,
Right.
which is one of the reasons we kind of just looked down the list and thought, well, we'll apply for a smaller project. And we were selected, which I think we were all a little bit surprised about. And so you are correct, it will open us up. Maybe we've got our name out there and we can apply for a bigger funding for some of the other street improvements.
Thank you. All right, may I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the Safe Streets and Roads for All Grant Agreement with the Federal Highway Administration and authorize the city manager to execute the agreement and any relative documents necessary to administer the grant.
Second.
Honorable Amanda Forrester.
Aye.
Honorable Ingo Hopper.
Aye.
Honorable Chaz Glines.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Preschler.
Carries.
That's very nicely for me.
All right, item number 17, discussion update. Notice of intent to the New Mexico Finance Authority Water Trust Board. Ms. Alvarez.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. So Water Trust Board opened up a new or early application process. It's for a design-only project. And so city manager got together and took a review of some of the funds that we have potentially coming through or available. And decided that we're going to submit a notice of intent in the amount of $2.3 million for design only. That design is going to complete 31,000 linear feet of water line. It'll look at well number 2 for rehab replacement, as well as potentially a new well in the upper zone up towards the cemetery area. The estimated total project cost that would open us up to apply for would be $25 million construction project. So the notice of intent was due last Friday. So this is just an update to the commission, letting you know that we have submitted that. They'll make a determination around the middle of August, and we should hopefully know something towards the end of August at the latest, whether or not we are awarded. And with that, I'll turn it over to City Manager Whitehead. If you have anything to add to that.
Thank you. Thank you, Assistant Manager. What I point out, so if you unfamiliar, the Water Trust Board is coming into a lot of money, and there's a real push in Santa Fe to try to stop funding a big project and then the money sits for a long period of time. So this appears to be their effort to say, we're going to do a first application for those that can do some design work. We're going to fund the design, and then we're expecting that design to then come back to us for funding the project. So just to keep that, that's the new process. The second part that made this difficult for us is they do want you to have preliminary engineering. So you do have to have some kind of a preliminary engineering report, a technical report. And so we're able to use our 2019 PER for our water projects. This fit nicely into that project. Working with Tracy, we identified that we do have $4.4 million coming to us in another HUD grant that the commission applied for 2023. So it's called 2024 HUD. That was kind of outlined and laid out for a potential project. But what we realized is we can use the HUD funding for match. So the proposal we put together is to say, let's get 2.3 million, let's design $25 million worth of another project, and then take the HUD grant to be our 10% match and our 10% loan. So again, using that to take and create this $25 million. So very innovative. We're right now working on securing the HUD grant. We're in the process of filling out the paperwork, getting all the contracts in. So that grant should come to us in the next year. And so we think this is timely because again, Wilson & Company is our water engineering firm, and they have a pretty good idea of where they would go to do the design work. So really innovative. I thought Tracy did a great job kind of identifying how this thought could come together and use that. So really taking again what we've been granted and turning it into more money. $25 million back into water lines will make another significant contribution to what we're trying to accomplish. So this project will look like over 3 years trying to get together. Let's get this grant, get the planning, get the HUD in place, make an application not this year but next year to Water Trust Board for the 23 million, and then match it with this.
The only thing I'll add in there, like I said, our planning document is required. Just keep in mind as we are moving forward with applying through Colonius and Water Trust Board, one of their other requirements with that planning document is it is updated every 5 years. And so that's something that I'll be speaking with city manager about and looking at the funding where we can update our municipal water PER, which would be good to do anyway with all the water system improvements we've been doing. So that will be coming down the line.
Okay. This is discussion only, so there's no vote, but it just keeps us in line because we have $120 million worth of repair work to do to our water lines. And we've got $40 or $50 million that we're spending over the next couple of years. This is the next tranche of money that's going to jump on the end of that. And then we'll keep on going and see where we go to see if we can get to the end at some point. So
correct. Mayor, I would say, we didn't apply for any water money this year. We did the wastewater plant, which is helpful. We're going to get that fixed. But I've been really nervous about thinking how we're going to get more because everything we apply for comes with a loan, right? It comes with a match, right? So and I presented to you the water fees and, kind of the structure we need to go to. So I thought this was really innovative to recognize that we could use HUD for a match and really do so. So
And you've already done the research because sometimes you can't use funds like that. So
this one, we did receive a HUD grant that matched for our critical water that's ready to go to bid. As well. So we know that can happen. You cannot use capital outlay for match funds, but HUD is available. So, and then if you think about it, if we're successful, the next commission at some point will continue to ask, maybe the next HUD program will be for a large tranche of money to then be a match as well. So just being thoughtful on how we do that, how we get those grant funds.
Great.
Thank you.
important. Thank you for that hard work. Okay, any other comments? Okay, move on to H, ordinances, resolution and zoning, discussion action, resolution number 14, 2627, authorizing and approving the submission of a completed loan application for financial assistance and protective approval and project approval to the New Mexico Finance. Deanna, no, you're here. How are you?
So I have some packets that I just received in the mail from the New Mexico Finance Authority. I will pass these out. Or Andrew will pass them out for you. Thank you. It'll outline some of the terms of the loan. We are asking for $306,099 for 4 new Explorer units. This is fully upfit with graphics. It does look like there's going to be some interest added on that's outlined in that packet, and it's going to come to the amount of a little over $314,000 with that interest. We are looking to pull that from our GRT, and it does look like our first payments will be due shortly. Should this be approved, we're looking to put in the application with the New Mexico Finance Authority, and we're asking for your approval on that.
This is coming from the PD's GRT.
Yes, we do.
So four patrol units that are outfitted like the other one that we were going to buy?
Correct.
Basically.
Yes, and it is from the same company that we got the quote, which should have been in the packets that were already there. Sorry.
Do we have someone that upgrades these things or uplifts these things that's close? Do you take them to Cruces or where do we get these things uplifted?
We do have a couple of different upfitters that we use, WAC or MHQ, both in Albuquerque. We can look at other options for the upfit. These are already done with this quote. So we will compare and contrast if that is something that the commission wishes.
So are they delivered with the upfit?
Yes, fully. The only thing that we may wait on a little bit is our specific different graphics.
MHQ is also on state price agreement, so that helps with that process as well.
Well, this will allow you to retire those other vehicles, right, Chief? Yes, sir.
Mayor Commission, so generally in the past, whenever we purchase a vehicle, we buy it and we send it to either MHQ or one of the other ones on the state price agreement. And there's a turnaround of anywhere from 6 months to a year before we ever see that unit again. What Phil Long has done with identifying that need is that they started to sell these vehicles fully upfitted. So right now, if I were to go and I have the cash in hand, there's 4 Explorers already upfitted, ready to drive off the lot, with the only thing needing to be done is insert a radio and our graphics. So it's just a quick turnaround for that, and we're not waiting a year for us to get the units back fully upfitted.
Mayor, members of the commission, let me also brief you. The process you're looking for today, you're not approving a requisition and you're not approving the state contract to purchase these units. Right now, we have to make the application to the New Mexico Finance Authority. We held this application off till the first of the fiscal year because every fiscal year, the city of Truth or Consequences is entitled to up to $150,000 in special funds that we can receive at 0%. So if you remember last year, you did approve the purchase and the loan for a street sweeper. We did receive the $150,000 at 0, which took that loan down to about 0.5% in interest. So what you're seeing here again on this is the first, the 150th, half of this loan will come to us at 0%. The remaining balance will come at 3.75, which will get us a yield somewhere around 1.75% overall. The chief and I have, in developing this program, our vision would be that the payment on this would be a 4-year payout. We'd like to get them paid off quickly so that we could redo that and potentially have, kind of have a nice rotation of units where we're borrowing, paying for them, and they can survive the life. As you see, they get a lot of miles on those cars. But right now, with your permission to go forward, we would then get on the New Mexico Finance Authority's calendar and their agenda. This has to go through that approval process. This will probably take 4 months to get all the approvals, all the resolutions, to have the funding back fully in order. And then at that point, finance, procurement officer, and the chief will come to you and present a package like they did again today to buy the units. A good job on them identifying a place where we can get them done and upfitted and in the proper order. So that will be the process for this.
The pricing agreement also doesn't expire until 2027, so it should be able to hold as well.
All right, thank you for that information. And I have no further questions. Did anybody else have any comments or questions? You guys okay with it? Okay.
Make a motion to approve resolution 142627 and to authorize any manager to execute application documents.
A second.
Honorable Charles Klein.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph Esper.
Aye.
Honorable Madam Clerk.
We need to make an adjustment on the resolution. Unfortunately, we sent the copy and we used it and we kept the street sweeper in there as well, but it needs to be changed to the.
Okay,
I didn't even notice.
I didn't either.
I can't take credit for noticing. I'm just the messenger.
Good job, Tracy.
Can't take credit either.
Oh,
She's right. It was the finance authority that had me correct that. I did not get a corrected copy to you folks.
So it needs to say, whereas the governing body intends to undertake the acquisition, construction, and improvement of a police vehicle package for the benefit of governmental unit and citizens versus a street sweeper.
I'll change it.
yeah. I'll make all that motion, but with those changes.
All right, got it. Okay, let's start over. Honorable Charles Klein.
Aye.
Honorable Ralph
Aye.
Esper. Honorable Amanda Forrester.
Aye.
That was our last item. It is now 11:43. Agenda is exhausted and we are adjourned.
Adios, mi quiero.
Yes, sir.